Good morning, I'm Brian Moritz with Transwest Truck Trailer RV out of Frederick, Colorado. Today on my live video, I'm going to be walking you through a 2013 Itasca Reyo 25T. So pre-owned unit, kind of different from what you see nowadays. So one really cool thing about this is it is built on a Mercedes-Benz Sprinter chassis. It's the F50 chassis, which is a cutaway chassis, but it still gives you the 3.0 turbo diesel, and which puts out 188 horsepower and 325 foot-pounds of torque, which is very similar to what they're putting in the Winnebago Navions, the Winnebago View, all these Sprinter motorhomes that we see nowadays. This is the same power plant that those come with. So while we're up in the front here, really quick, we'll go here. The stock number for this unit is 5U201182. Again, 2013 Itasca Reyo 25T. So this motorhome was kind of designed for people who want the size of a Class C, that 25 foot, but the space of a Class A. So this is a cutaway chassis. So when it's shipped to Winnebago, it's pretty much a dashboard, some frame rails, an engine, a driver's seat, and that's about it. And then Winnebago goes and builds a structure around it. So you have an aluminum superstructure connecting the frame of the motorhome to the frame of the chassis, and then cross bracing all the way through there. Does give you a good rigid frame in case you were ever in an accident. So we'll start by walking around the outside of this coach, and then we'll head inside and look at all the features in there as well. So just while we're still kind of panning here, you do have a 16-foot awning. It is a power extend, power retract, and it's also adjustable. If you wanted to adjust it to drop this tilt down, keep the sun out of your eyes, that is absolutely possible. It's really easy. Just push a button and it'll slide down. Also, on the exterior, you do have full body paint, so you don't have any stickers or graphics here that are going to crack and fade and kind of disintegrate over time. The paint just stays nice and clean for you. So one big benefit to this F50 chassis that you don't get in standard Class C's, or as much of, you do get a little bit more exterior storage. So in this front compartment, just a really big storage compartment. You can see that it is carpeted down here on the bottom to keep things from sliding around in there. Over on this left side, there's a Xantrax 1000 watt inverter. You can see it there. It's got 2 outlets on the side of it too, so if you were using something outside and didn't want to run your generator and weren't plugged into shore power, you could just plug it directly into the inverter. Coming back a little bit farther, an Onan 3600 watt propane generator that's going to pull directly off of your 13-gallon propane tank, which we'll see on the other side. One more exterior storage compartment back here. A little smaller. This one is more of a wet storage, so things you don't want to get wet, you keep them in there. You see you got the nice weather stripping here, and this is lined and waterproof. And then on this particular floor plan of the Itasca Reyo, you have a full pass-through storage compartment back here. And you also have a spare tire as well coming with this motorhome. So this is a full fiberglass body exterior, including the roof, the rear cap, the front cap. All of it is fiberglass. Coming to the back here, couple things you want to look at up top. We do have a backup camera that will come on automatically when you put this motorhome into reverse. And down below, 2-inch receiver with a 5,000 pound towing capacity and a 500 pound vertical weight capacity. You also have a 7-pin connector here for your trailer lights, trailer brakes. If you're pulling a tow vehicle, you also plug that in right there with your 7 to 6 connector. Which brings us over to the driver's side of this motorhome. Actually, we'll start with this compartment here. So right here we see the other side of that big pass-through bay. And then I'm going to show you a little secret compartment here. So you have a little fake panel there, and on the back side of that panel is going to be your water pump, your hot water heater, and your furnace. The important thing to know in this panel is here's your siphon tube for winterizing a motorhome, or this motorhome. So you plug this into a bottle of antifreeze, turn on your water pump, and it'll just suck antifreeze all the way through the system. You also have your valves back there for your hot water bypass for when you're winterizing. Very easy to access, which is nice when it's time to winterize, because it's probably cold outside. Down below that compartment, couple things going on here. Right here is where you're going to store this power cord that's already attached to the motorhome. It's about a 20-foot power cord. There's also a little drop down latch there, so you can run the power cord through it without having to leave the door open. Over on the left side, this is going to be your water bay. So we'll start up top here. There's a valve for tank fill or city water. City water is if you're just hooked up to a hose in a campground. Down below that is your valve or your inlet for your fresh water. So you plug your hose directly into that, and that'll fill your tank or give you city water connection. You have a valve down here to drain your freshwater tank for winterization purposes. Water pump, a remote water pump switch, a waste pump for your gray tank, your black tank dump valve, an outside shower with hot and cold water, and there's also the valve, another valve for your freshwater tank drain there. So you have a hot and cold side of the freshwater. So just on the exterior, right here is going to be your vent for your hot water heater, and down below that's going to be the vent for your furnace. And then coming forward, just a couple things to look at. That back compartment right there is going to be your black tank. So that's a 34-gallon black tank. You have 36 gallon black tank. You have 34 gallons of fresh water, 36 gallons of gray water, and 36 gallons of black water. Also, you have an electronic shutoff valve for your propane tank. The propane tank is tucked up underneath or behind this black water tank. So you also have your fill and your bleeder valve right there. So you don't have to climb underneath to fill your propane. You just plug it in right there. And then moving forward one compartment, just another carpeted storage compartment with a little hose storage slot over here on the right side for that sewer hose. And then last one on the driver's side, one more carpeted storage compartment. This one's got a couple extra components in here. So you have 12-volt circuit breakers for the chassis. So if you ever have a chassis issue, radio's not working, something like that, you always check your fuses first. But it does double as storage. One thing I want to point out on these mirrors, you do have cameras built into them. So when you turn on your left or right blinker, you will see that side of the motorhome. That pretty much wraps up the outside of this motorhome. We'll head inside, look at some of the stuff in there. Oh, I lied actually. We'll look at one more compartment on this passenger side. This is another big storage compartment. So right in front of the door, down below the passenger side window, one more carpeted storage compartment, put more stuff in there. So as we come inside, it is worth noticing you do have a screen door here. So you can leave that door open for airflow, keep the bugs out while still getting the fresh air in. So as we come into this motorhome, I have the slide out in currently. I want to show that this motorhome is fully functional without putting a slide out. So if you're pulling over to make a sandwich or just take a nap for a little bit, you don't have to go and set up and take up extra space, but it is just a single slide model. So pan that way just a little bit so you can see the hallway. And I'm a decently sized human, and I can still walk through here just fine. So we'll go ahead and get that slide out now. And then we just opened up our living space about 2.5 feet there. So see this pole here in the middle? We'll grab the table to it really quick. So you can set it here, maybe, if I can do it. So you can set it there, or in front of the little couch here. For an eating space. So both your driver and passenger seat will swivel around. I did swivel the passenger seat for us just so you could see that. But that gives you more seating in that living space. Just leave that there for now. So kind of come up in the cab and I'll show you just a couple features up here. Then we'll move back into the galley. So first thing up top, instead of an overhead bunk in this Reyo, you do just have more storage. 3 nice big deep cabinets up there. And then over on this left side, on the driver's side, there's a couple switches. You got power adjusting mirrors, left and right side. Here you have heated mirrors. So if it's foggy, cold, you can turn on the heated mirrors, keep them nice and clean. Map lights for the driver. Just your headlights, cruise control, blinkers. Standard automatic transmission does have the manual mode where you can downshift it if you're going down a hill and you want to slow down just a little bit. HVAC controls for the chassis down there in the middle. There is a battery boost switch, so if your chassis battery dies while you're out camping, you can use the power from the house batteries to start the engine. And then a radio selector switch, so you don't have to have the ignition on to listen to that radio. On either side of the cab, on both the driver and passenger side, you have 2 cup holders, a storage compartment, and a 12-volt receptacle for charging your phones. And then you also have these cab lines that will go all the way around the cab for privacy. So we'll come back just a little bit right next to the entry door. Jensen whole house radio system. So there's speakers up in the ceiling that I'll show you in just a little bit, but you can use this as an FM radio, you can use it as Bluetooth, you can also put a DVD into it and play it on the main TV, which I'll show you in just a second. And then also access to storage from just outside the motorhome. Right here we got a canister and the wrench for your whole house water filter. We do not have it installed just because it is winterized. Your awning controls, so as I told you earlier, power in, power out. So push the button and the awning will start coming in. Coach battery disconnect for when you're putting it in storage, and a step override so the step doesn't come in and out every time you walk in or out of the motorhome. Coming on to the driver's side here, I'm going to put this table back in the back. So this does convert into a bed. You just pull these 2 cushions off, just throw them up in the cab for now, and then just drop this down. So if you got kiddo going with you, you do have a small bed there, but at least it's something for you. Storage up above the sofa. Another nice big cabinet there. There is no divider here, so if you have longer stuff you need to put in there, that's a great place for it. And then this motorhome all the way around is equipped with dual pane acrylic windows. Something I do really like about these windows is they open at an angle. So if it's raining outside, you can still have these windows open. There's 3 different levels of how open it can be, and you just push it all the way out and it closes back up for you. Also, that's more of a this is more of a screen. So again, you could have that window open, keep the bugs out. And then if you pull it from the bottom, you have more of a privacy shade. I can get it open. There we go. And then lights up above both sides just for reading. You have LED lights on either side of the sofa. Coming back just a little bit, there's a Jensen TV for you. It's about a 32-inch TV. And that will hook up to that radio we showed you earlier. That's where your DVDs would be played if you put a DVD in it. That's going to bring us into the kitchen area. So we'll start down low. Big storage compartment there. This is that outside, that storage from where the water canister was. This is the other side of it, so you can access it from two places. And then you have a bank of 3 drawers directly to the right of that. All 3 drawers are exactly the same as this one. On top of the counter, you have a folding sink. So that's a really nice big bowl, but they do let it fold down so you don't eat counter space by having a sink there. You can still use that top as prep space. Same thing with the stove, 2-burner gas cooktop with an electric igniter. So you don't have to have a lighter to light that. But the folding top does give you prep space as well. Some storage up above. Now, in this bay, or this compartment, is also going to be your satellite receiver. So if you have a satellite dish on top of this motorhome, you put your receiver right here. That's going to hook to that Jensen TV we talked about earlier. You also have 2 110 outlets and an HDMI, so if you wanted to add a DVD player to it, you could also hook it up to that TV on the other side. Coming back, convection microwave. So this does have a convection oven built into it, which brings us back into the galley where we'll see our Dometic refrigerator freezer combo. So just a small fridge and then a pop down freezer. Now this is a gas and electric refrigerator, so you can run it off of propane if you're out boondocking. And then up above that, more storage for the kitchen, little pull out tray there. And in the back of this, there's 2 110 outlets as well. Up above that, this is going to be your Winnebago one place, your Itasca one place. So slide out room in and out, slide out room master switch. That's a safety if you are traveling with children. It's best just to turn it off so they don't play with things. Electronic LP valve. And then from this panel, you can turn on your water pump, turn on your water heater from either electric or propane. You can also monitor your tank levels and your battery levels. And last but not least, you can start your generator from here as well. So this does have a 6-gallon gas or electric hot water heater. And last thing on the top there, Xantrax controller for your 1000 watt inverter. So before we come back into the bedroom, we'll take a look at the bathroom. So for a 25-foot motorhome, very nice sized bathroom here. Just toilet, just a fiberglass shower with a door. The cool thing about these doors is they actually squeegee themselves as they retract, so you don't have to, or you don't get water everywhere. Linen cabinet up there. And then over on this side, just a single sink and a mirror. Now this brings us back into the bedroom. So while we have it here, you can see that it's got 2 twin beds. The cool thing about this setup is if you're solo camping and you just want to bring a friend along, kid along every once in a while, you can actually set this up so you don't have to sleep in the same bed. But if you're solo camping and no one's with you, you can fill this in to make a huge queen, or I would say a king bed. It's got a queen length, but king width. And then you have a nice walkway all the way through here with steps up onto this bed. So this bed's a little high because the pass-through storage that we saw on the outside is underneath this bed. So on either side, you do have a nice big drawer. And then storage all the way up around the bed that we'll see once we come into the bedroom completely. So right as you walk into this bedroom on the right side, you have a thermostat there. So that's going to control both your 20,000 BTU heater as well as your 13,500 BTU air conditioning. That is a roof mounted air conditioning with ducting all the way through the motorhome. So single air conditioning for a 25-foot motorhome is plenty. 2 light switches, and then this is probably the most important one. This is the holding tank heaters switch. So there's 12-volt heaters on both your gray and black tanks since they're outside. Keep them a little bit warmer, keep you camping a little longer in the winter. Up above, all the way across the bed, all the way around the bed really, huge storage. And then same thing on this side. Also underneath on either side, you do have a reading light and those same dual pane acrylic windows that I showed you in the front with both the privacy shade and the bug screen. Now up on this side, on the what would be the passenger side, is another spot for a satellite receiver. If you have a satellite installed on top of this motorhome, whether it be Dish Network or direct, you plug your satellite receiver in right there. HDMI port as well for this smaller Jensen LED TV. There's also 2 110 outlets for that receiver as well as a DVD player if you put one in there. Well, I think that pretty much concludes our walkthrough of this 2013 Itasca Reyo 25T. Again, I'm Brian Moritz with Transwest Truck Trailer RV out of Frederick, Colorado. If you have any questions about this unit or any other unit you see on our website, feel free to give me a call at 303-684-3433 or an email at brian.moritz@transwest.com. Have a great Christmas or holiday season, and we'll see you next year.